This story hit the boxing community harder than any knockout punch could. When the first reports started breaking about Anthony Joshua's accident, most people thought it was just another celebrity rumor spreading through social media, but then the details started coming in, and everyone realized this was devastatingly real. Brutal moment of reality.
All right. So, we have more information regarding the tragic car accident that Anthony A.J. Joshua was involved in, and everything that happened, including details on how the accident itself occurred. First, I want to say rest in peace to those two who passed away due to the accident. Anthony A.J. Joshua's very close and best friends and personal trainers, Lats and Cena. We found out early yesterday that it was indeed those two confirmed as his friends who passed away.
The investigation revealed what actually went down that day. Hours passed before anyone could piece together the timeline, because the scene was pure chaos. What investigators eventually discovered was that Joshua's vehicle had been speeding down a Nigerian highway when everything went sideways in the worst possible way.
Traveling at a high speed, trying to maneuver around a vehicle, and lost control and ran into the commercial stationary truck.
From what we got to understand was that there was a trailer that was parked at the shoulder, whereby the vehicle conveying Anthony Joshua and his team did a wrongful overtake, and they ran into that vehicle.
Now here's images of the truck itself that the SUV struck. Very large commercial vehicle.
As reactions came in from the boxing world.
Here's what really happened, according to official reports. Joshua's Lexus was traveling at high speed when the driver decided to pass another car on that dangerous stretch of road, but something went wrong during the overtaking maneuver. The vehicle spun out of control and crashed straight into a massive commercial truck that was parked on the roadside. The impact was absolutely devastating.
I don't know, man. That was crazy. You know, first of all, rest in peace to both of the gentlemen. I hope they family, you know what I mean? Like, could get past that. That's like crazy. I know it's gonna be tough, but I don't know. That was just crazy, you know, looking at it. I mean, I don't know how that happened. I don't know. And I know Anthony Joshua got to feel terrible. You know what I mean? Because they was with him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't know, man. That was a rough jump, man.
When photos of that truck started making rounds online, people couldn't believe what they were seeing. This wasn't some fender bender or minor collision. We're talking about a high-speed crash into something that was basically like hitting a brick wall. The laws of physics took over, and it became a matter of pure luck who would walk away from something that violent.
He tweeted, RIP Sinagami and Kevin Latif Shah Lats Iodel. My thoughts and prayers are with their families and friends and AJ.
The boxing world didn't waste any time responding to the tragedy. Joshua's trainer Greg Hackett broke down when he spoke to reporters, sending his deepest sympathies to the families who lost loved ones in that crash. You could hear the pain in his voice as he talked about the impossible burden that Joshua would have to live with for the rest of his life.
It's like this is the clearest fixed fight you're ever gonna see. But look at this guy holding his hands out and watch. Watch this. He literally shows him his chin, and he goes down. It's so fake. Look at him, he's got nothing.
I wished I could have knocked him out at the start, but as we saw, he came to my ears and whispered, please be easy on me. He thought I'm Mike Tyson and I will follow his script 40 seconds after I broke the clown's jaw. We are boxers, not content creators. I wished I could have knocked him out at the start, but as we saw,
the day after I woke up and told my wife, why did I do that? You know, I don't know. I just don't know what the hell goes on. I remember one thing, I had a very hard moment in that part of my life, but I assure you in that age, I could have put that clown in the first round, but I sold my soul. And
you could only take so much. And at a certain, like that one that he got from Joshua, ooh, you know, say if you have like a punch card, you have like so many punches that you can get in your life, which I believe you do. I believe there's a certain number. That one was like 10 bunches.
Yeah.
That was like,
Yeah.
it was a lot of concussions in that.
Social media exploded with messages of support from every corner of the boxing universe. Even Jake Paul put aside any previous beef to honor the victims and offer his prayers to their families. For once, all the trash talk and promotional drama took a backseat to basic human decency and compassion.
You know, I'm going to get out of the way a little bit on this one and let you lead the way, because you knew these men personally and you know Anthony personally, and you've been calling shows in West Africa, not Nigeria, but in Ghana recently. And it's horrible news to be met with before the New Year's for Joshua, who had to be feeling good about his stature being risen in the United States to a new level. And, I would say he was going over there to celebrate, but really him and this man, Latif, they go there frequently all the time. So they weren't even necessarily really celebrating. This is just kind of what they do in Nigeria.
The accident became national news when Nigerian President Bola Tinubu made a personal visit to see Joshua in the hospital. That's when everyone understood just how significant this tragedy was. It had transcended sports entirely and become something the whole country was mourning together.
But I know you have a lot of deep thoughts about this, Raheem. What do you have to say for the audience?
I think the first thing to get out of the way is just the facts. I'm not on the ground. However, there are some facts about this situation that should be laid very plain. 4 men in the car. Anthony Joshua and the driver survived this accident. Anthony Joshua was sat behind the driver in the back seat. Sitting next to him was one of the men who fatally lost their life in this crash, and sitting next to the driver was the other man. I don't know whether Latif or Cena was in the front or back seat, but if you don't know, they drive on the right side of the road there, so both Joshua and the driver would be on the right side of the car. It has been characterized by the Ghanaian authority. It has been characterized by the Nigerian authorities that the car was speeding and trying to overtake another car, suggesting that they were driving reckless, and then slammed into a stationary vehicle, which means a vehicle that wasn't moving. It was a massive truck. I saw that in a video. There has also been a report that the tire blew out, maybe while they're in the action of overtaking the vehicle, and that is how the driver lost control and slammed into the stationary truck. For context, I've never been on this particular road in Nigeria. However, I have been to West Africa many times. In Ghana, I've been in.
Boxing analysts tried to put the emotional damage into perspective. Sean Ziddle pointed out that Joshua didn't just lose random people in that crash. These were his closest friends, people who had been part of his inner circle for years, and it happened right before New Year's, when everyone should have been celebrating and looking forward to better times ahead. What made it even more heartbreaking was learning that this wasn't some special occasion trip to Nigeria. Joshua was just going about his normal business, visiting family, and handling routine matters. There was nothing unusual about the journey, which somehow made the whole thing feel more cruel and random.
The precious value of life. Life is precious, and no matter if you make no money, no matter if you make tons of money, sure, your living experience will be different, and some live, quote unquote, better than others, but the gift, the ultimate gift is life. And it didn't matter today that AJ was one of the biggest stars a week ago in the world. It didn't matter that he had this record-breaking boxing match. Didn't matter that he got paid a ton of money. Didn't matter that he was worth a ton of money. Today, all that mattered was God looked down on him and saved his life. And again, unfortunately for the two men that passed, they weren't as fortunate. And I pray for them, I pray for their families, pray for AJ, but it just shows you how precious every day is, and how you have to take every day as a reminder that this life is short.
Investigators put together a detailed diagram showing exactly where everyone was sitting when the crash happened. Joshua was positioned behind the driver when the right side of the car took the full force of impact. Those seating positions became the difference between who lived and who died that day.
For every second you breathe air, because it can all change in an instant. I can't imagine what AJ, again, you know, obviously the main concern should be the people and the families of those deceased. I can't imagine what AJ is gonna have to deal with in terms of the grief, the emotional strain, the physical anguish. I mean, his two, apparently, according to a lot of the people that are speaking about this, his two of his best friends just died in front of him. You know, things are bigger than boxing right now. I saw everybody reaching out. Turkey Al-Sheikh, owner, CEO of the Ring Magazine, Jake Paul, Piers Morgan, everybody around the boxing scene coming together, regardless of what they think of each other. And that's something I love to see in our sport, coming together to send our prayers, send our thoughts.
This tragic accident shows how fragile life is.
Boxing commentator Wade Plemons captured what everyone was thinking when he reminded people that fame and fortune don't protect anyone from life's harsh realities. Even someone as successful as Anthony Joshua has to face the same fragile mortality that affects every human being on Earth.
Anthony Joshua's gigantic.
So big.
He's so big. He's so much bigger. So, of course, like, his punch that he knocks Tyron Woodley out cold with, Joshua just eats it.
Yeah.
Because he's a giant.
Yeah.
He's a fucking giant.
Something beautiful happened in the aftermath, though. The entire boxing community came together in a way that rarely happens in such a competitive sport. Journalists like those at Ring Magazine, fighters like Jake Paul, and media personalities like Piers Morgan all united to send their support and prayers. It showed how tragedy can strip away all the artificial rivalries and remind everyone what really matters.
Pin him down and hurt him. That has been the request leading up, and that was on my mind. It took a bit longer than expected, but the right hand found.
But then the situation took an even darker turn. Word started spreading that Joshua had watched his two closest friends die right there in front of him during the crash. Try to imagine carrying that kind of trauma. No amount of championship belts or prize money can prepare someone's mind to process witnessing something that horrific happened to the people they care about most.
Seemed to me like sparring.
Yeah.
When I watched it, which, you know, look, I paid for it. They got me. I thought it was going to be a real fight, but I'm not mad.
$1 million on.
That's the problem. Yeah. That's why, look, maybe it was a real fight. Maybe that's just the level that they both fight at. But you know, it seemed a little sus, you know.
This incident forced everyone in boxing to step back and think about what's actually important in life. The crowd stopped cheering, the cameras eventually turn off, and the headlines fade away. But the people who survive these kinds of tragedies have to live with the memories and the loss forever.
I mean, I never felt it was anything other than entertainment. I'm not surprised that Anthony Joshua could have knocked Jake Paul out anytime he wanted to. He didn't want to.
So why didn't he?
Because, well, when you're on a platform like Netflix that turns one-part episodes into a 6-part series, why would you think that part of their entertainment model is to have a 30-second fight? Why? You watch a Netflix series, you can watch it and you can go, well, I get the gist of it. Why have you got to turn it into 10 episodes? Because I'm dying with boredom after episode.
Are you telling me that Netflix probably emphasised, listen guys, take this as long as you can?
Anthony Joshua didn't step, irrespective, I sat to all these guys, whether it be Spencer or Paul Smith, talking about the fact that Jake Paul couldn't run, didn't have the footwork to be able to move around the ring.
So nuts, right? Just the fact that he's willing to fight the 2-time heavyweight champion, former Olympic gold medalist, a guy who's gigantic in his prime, built like a Greek god. And you're gonna stand, and he's a one-punch killer, and you're gonna stand in front of that guy, and he avoided shots till the 6th round. He just started getting tired.
I mean, I told everyone though that I would do better than Francis, and that Francis kind of got no chin.
So
Francis low-key soft.
You made it further than Francis.
Yeah.
So I mean, by 6, he won 6 rounds.
You know what that means?
What
we got here?
As I look at it, you know, for the fans, it put boxing still on the map because it keeps boxing relevant. Having exhibition fights like this, different celebrities and different things like that. I look at it as a fun thing for fans and stuff like that. I don't really take it seriously, you know, because, you know, we in the business of boxing. That right there is just, you know, exhibition stuff. But I'm hearing they say it's a I mean, it's a real fight, but yeah, it's a real fight because both guys are getting in there fighting. You know, I'm still the one that be thinking round.
I mean, Simon, when you look at it, Jake Paul posted on Twitter after the fight, jaw broken, heart and balls intact. That's a good thing. Time to rest, recover, and return to cruiserweight. I mean, he's coming out of it as if, well, yeah, I got battered in the end, but ball.
What this whole terrible situation really shows us is how quickly everything can change. Joshua survived when others didn't, and now he has to figure out how to move forward while carrying that survivor's guilt. The massive outpouring of love and support from around the world proves that sometimes the most important victories have nothing to do with what happens inside a boxing ring.